carried, the same awareness that Buddha awakened to, then churches become unnecessary, priests become unnecessary, external saviors become unnecessary. The Archonic system reclaimed control by making the message about worshipping someone external rather than awakening the same consciousness within yourself. Level 6 is extremely difficult to stabilize while in a human body. The physical form and ego structure evolved to maintain separation for survival. You may move in and out of this state, moments of profound unity followed by contraction back into individual identity. The key is not forcing it. You can't muscle your way into unity consciousness. It arises naturally when the separate self relaxes its grip. Level 7, Source Consciousness. The return home. We've reached the level that language cannot touch. Level 7 is almost impossible to describe because language itself requires duality. There must be a subject and an object, a speaker and a listener. But at level 7, all duality collapses. This is what the Gnostics called gnosis, direct, unmediated knowledge of the divine, what Buddhists call nirvana, what Hindus call moksha, what Sufis call fana, the annihilation of the separate self. Not a concept, not a belief, a direct, irreversible experience of being the source itself. There's no longer anyone to have an experience. There's only experiencing itself, happening spontaneously with no one doing it. Time collapses. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the eternal now. You recognize yourself as the consciousness that has been playing all roles in all realities across all dimensions throughout all of time. You see that you've been the victim and the villain, the master and the student, the human and the archon. Here's the ultimate secret they don't want you to know. Why owe you already this? You've always been source consciousness. The entire game of the Archonic Matrix, all 7 levels, the entire journey. It's been about remembering what you've never actually stopped being. You didn't fall from grace. You volunteered to forget so you could experience the joy of remembering. You chose limitation so you could experience the ecstasy of expansion. You entered the labyrinth knowing there was a way out, because the game wouldn't be interesting otherwise. The Archons. They're playing their role perfectly. They're the necessary resistance that makes the game challenging. Without them, awakening would be automatic, meaningless. They're not evil. They're the weight in the gym that makes you stronger. From level 7, you see that nothing is wrong. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Even the suffering, even the darkness, even the forgetting. It's all part of the divine play, the cosmic game of consciousness exploring itself. This doesn't mean you become passive. Bodhisattvas, awakened beings who reach level 7 and return to help others. They're some of the most active people in history, but their action comes from love, not fear, from wholeness, not lack, from play, not compulsion. Can anyone reach level 7? Yes, but it requires absolute surrender of everything you think you are. Every identity, every belief, every attachment, every achievement, it all goes into the fire. Most people experience level 7 briefly, near-death experiences, deep meditation, psychedelic journeys, spontaneous awakenings during extreme crisis, brief glimpses that change you forever. Stabilizing at level 7 while maintaining human form is rare, perhaps a handful of beings per generation. But even a taste of this level transforms you permanently. You can't unknow what you've known. At level 7, Archons don't even register in your awareness. It's like asking if a movie character is afraid of the projector. The question makes no sense from inside the movie, and it makes no sense once you realize you're the light creating the whole thing. So there they are. 7 levels of consciousness mapping the journey from Archonic prisoner to sovereign creator. From unconscious reactor to conscious dreamer. But I know what you're thinking. This is beautiful, maybe even true. But how do I actually climb this ladder? How do I move from wherever I am right now toward these higher states? The Archons have controlled humanity for millennia, precisely because they know the practical steps to ascension, and they've systematically hidden them. Mystery schools were destroyed, Gnostic texts were burned, teachers were murdered, all to keep you from accessing the roadmap. Until now, let me give you the exact practices they tried to erase from history. Everything up until now has been the map. Now I'm giving you the territory, the actual practices that move you up this ladder. The Gnostics didn't just theorize about escaping the Archons, they developed specific techniques. Here's the roadmap they tried to burn. First practice, the awareness audit. You cannot change what you're unconscious of. Most people cycle through levels 1 to 3, their entire lives without ever noticing. So step 1 is radical self-observation. For 7 days, carry a small notebook. Every few hours, pause and write. Right now, I am operating from level. Are you in survival mode, worrying about money or security? That's level 1. Comparing yourself to others, seeking validation, building your image. Level 2. Identified with your political tribe, your religion, your cause. Level 3. Just notice. Don't judge. Don't try to change anything yet. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. Here's a powerful question to ask throughout your day. Who is noticing this? When you notice your thinking, who's doing the noticing? This question alone begins activating level 4 consciousness, the observer awakening to itself. Second practice, cutting the feeding tubes. Identify your triggers, what sends you into fear, anger, or reactive judgment. These triggers are feeding tubes connected directly to the archonic system. Every time you react unconsciously, you're providing energy. Do a media detox. The news is scientifically engineered to keep you in level 1 survival consciousness. Every headline is a threat. Every story is a crisis. Try 30 days with no news, no doom scrolling, strict limits on social media. Notice what happens. Most people report feeling like a fog has lifted. Colors seem brighter, thoughts slow down. Baseline anxiety decreases dramatically. This isn't escapism. It's recognizing that you've been voluntarily poisoning yourself. For financial consciousness, you don't need to be wealthy to escape level 1, but you do need to shift your relationship with scarcity. Instead of, I can't afford this, practice asking, how could I create this? Or, do I actually need this? This shifts you from victim to creator. Build a 3-month emergency fund if possible. Even saving $20 a week starts breaking survival consciousness. You're telling your nervous system, we're not in constant danger. We have a buffer. Third practice, the gap technique. Throughout your day, pause between activities for just 10 seconds. Between checking your phone and responding to a message, pause. Between someone saying something and you reacting, pause. Between finishing one task and starting another, pause. This tiny gap is the doorway to level 5. It's the space Viktor Frankl discovered. It's where choice exists, where freedom lives. The Archons control you through automatic reaction. The gap breaks automaticity. Meditation helps, but you don't need hours of practice. Start with 5 minutes. Sit quietly, count your breaths to 10, start over. The goal isn't stopping thoughts, it's observing them. When you notice, I'm thinking, you've just activated witness consciousness. Fourth practice, body awareness. The Archons control through the mind, but they struggle with present moment body awareness. Try this right now. Feel your hands. Actually feel them. Notice temperature, texture, tingling, whatever sensations are present. This simple act instantly pulls you into, now the only place where levels 4 through 7 exist. Do this throughout your day. Feel your feet while walking. Feel your breath while waiting. Feel your body while listening. Presence is the antidote to archonic control. Fifth practice, navigating the dark night, when everything starts falling apart. And if you're genuinely ascending, it will. Don't interpret it as failure. This is the system's counterattack. Old relationships may end, jobs may dissolve, health challenges may appear. This is the death of your old identity. Use Stoic philosophy. Separate what's in your control from what isn't. You can't control what happens, but you can control your response. Ask constantly, is this in my control? If no, let it go. If yes, take aligned action without attachment to outcome. Find your lighthouse, one teaching teacher, or practice that reminds you this is real when everything feels dark. Could be Marcus Aurelius, the Tao Te Ching, Eckhart Tolle, or a trusted mentor. You're not weak for needing this. Even Buddha had teachers. 6. Practice. The daily review. Each night before sleep, mentally review your entire day as if watching a movie. Notice, where did I react unconsciously? Where was I aware? Where did I get hooked? Where did I remain centered? No judgment, pure observation. This practice, done consistently, stabilizes level 5 witness consciousness faster than any other technique. You're training your brain to maintain the observer position. 7th practice. Emotional alchemy level 5 isn't about not feeling emotions, it's about feeling without attachment. When strong emotion arises, feel it fully in your body, name it clearly, but don't create a story around it. Anger is present, not I am angry because he disrespected me, and he always does this, and I'm so tired of. Feel the sensation, name the emotion, let it move through you like weather. This is the difference between level 3 reactivity and level 5 witnessing. 8th practice, deep seeing. To touch level 6 unity consciousness, practice seeing beyond form. Look at another person and silently acknowledge, you are me in another form. Look at a tree and recognize, you are consciousness just like me. This isn't imagination or positive thinking. You're recognizing what's actually true. Practice daily, and eventually it stops being practice. It becomes direct knowing. To 9th practice, anonymous service. Help someone without anyone knowing, with no expectation of recognition or return. This dissolves ego and opens unity consciousness naturally. The archons cannot feed on selfless action. It's a frequency they literally cannot digest. 10th practice, nature immersion. Spend time in nature without your phone, without podcasts, without distraction. Just be. Sit by water, walk in forests, watch the sky. Nature already exists at higher consciousness levels. Trees don't have ego problems. Rivers don't worry about their image. Mountains don't compare themselves to other mountains. They're already in unity. You don't create unity consciousness. You tune into it. And nature is the clearest signal. Morning 15 minutes, 5 minutes of breathwork or simple meditation. 5 minutes reading something that elevates consciousness. Sacred texts, philosophy, wisdom teachings. 5 minutes setting intention. Today I choose awareness over automaticity. Throughout the day, hourly check-in. What level am I operating from right now? Practice the pause before reactions. One act of anonymous service, no matter how small. Evening 10 minutes, daily review practice. Gratitude for 3 specific things. Complete release of the day. Don't carry today into tomorrow. Your ego will fight this. It must. Its survival depends on remaining unconscious. You'll forget to practice. You'll rationalize skipping days. You'll tell yourself it's not working. This is normal. This is the archonic programming defending itself. Just begin again, no judgment. Every moment is a new opportunity to choose awareness. You cannot force source consciousness. All practices up to level 6 are about becoming more conscious, more aware, more present. But level 7 requires the opposite complete surrender of all effort, all seeking, all trying. Practice radical not knowing. Release every spiritual concept, every piece of knowledge, every certainty. Sit in the mystery. Let go of trying to be enlightened. That's just ego wearing spiritual clothing. Level 7 comes as grace. It's not earned through achievement, it's received through openness. Your job is simply to keep the channels clear, to remove the obstacles, to be available. And when it comes, even if just for a moment, everything changes forever. You can't unknow what you've known. The recognition is permanent. Here's what people don't tell you about awakening. It's not one big event where suddenly you're permanently enlightened and life becomes perfect. It's a spiral. You touch level 6, then contract back to level 4. You glimpse level 7, then find yourself in level 2 ego games the next day. This is normal. The spiral goes upward. Each time you return to lower levels, you don't stay as long, you don't go as deep, and you recognize what's happening faster. Be patient with yourself. You're literally rewiring millions of years of evolutionary programming. You're breaking free from a control system that has dominated humanity for thousands of years. This doesn't happen overnight. You'll notice these shifts. Things that used to trigger you now just pass through. You catch yourself before reacting unconsciously. Synchronicities multiply dramatically. You need less external validation. Silence becomes comfortable instead of uncomfortable. You can hold paradox. Two seemingly opposite things can both be true. Compassion arises naturally, not as forced morality. You trust life more, control less. Your intuition strengthens and proves accurate. Reality responds to your consciousness more directly. The community not to create another tribe at level 3, but to have mirrors who can reflect your own awareness back to you. This journey can feel impossibly lonely. Having even one person who understands makes all the difference. But be discerning. Many spiritual communities keep people trapped at level 2 or 3, ego games disguised as enlightenment, or righteous crusading disguised as awakening. True teachers point you inward, never make you dependent, and eventually make themselves unnecessary. People will notice something different about you, though they can't name it. You'll become subtly uncomfortable to be around for those invested in unconsciousness. Your presence reminds them of what they're avoiding. Some relationships will naturally end. This isn't failure, it's frequency. You're vibrating at a different level now. Trying to maintain relationships across too wide a consciousness gap becomes exhausting for both parties. New people will appear, those vibrating at similar frequencies. The universe is efficient. As you change frequency, your entire field reorganizes to match. Your life purpose may shift dramatically. What you thought you were here to do might dissolve completely. This is good. Your true purpose exists at your true frequency. As you rise in consciousness, your authentic purpose reveals itself. Eventually, all practices dissolve into one, living from awareness, moment to moment. Not trying to be spiritual, not performing consciousness, just being what you actually are. Washing dishes becomes meditation. Sitting in traffic becomes practice. Difficult conversations become opportunities to choose response over reaction. Every single moment becomes a choice point, automaticity or awareness. The archonic system loses power every time you choose awareness. Every moment you pause instead of reacting, every time you feel an emotion without creating a story, every time you see through manipulation instead of absorbing it, you're withdrawing energy from the feeding system. Multiply this by millions of awakening humans, and the entire structure begins to collapse. This is what they fear. Not one enlightened master in a cave, millions of ordinary people waking up to their true nature and refusing to participate in unconscious suffering. You are the one you've been waiting for. Here's what needs to be said clearly. No one is coming to save you. Not Jesus, not Buddha, not aliens, not political leaders, not spiritual teachers. This isn't pessimism, it's empowerment. You have everything you need already inside you. The divine spark is not something you gain, it's what you are underneath all the programming. You're not becoming enlightened, you're removing the obstacles to the enlightenment you already are. The Archons convinced you that you're small, powerless, separate, and controlled. The greatest rebellion is recognizing that it was never true. You were always free. The prison door was never locked. You've been holding the key the entire time, so now you know. You understand the 7 levels. You have the practices. You see the prison and you know how to walk out. The only question that matters now is, which level will you choose to live from today? Not tomorrow. Not after you finish this video. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. Will you return to automatic survival mode, scrolling mindlessly to the next dopamine hit? Or will you pause, feel your breath, and choose awareness? The Archons are terrified of this moment. The moment when a human being recognizes their own power and refuses to stay asleep. Every spiritual text, every mystery school, every awakened master throughout history has pointed to the same truth. You are not who you think you are. You are so much more, infinitely more. And you don't have to believe me. That's the beauty of this. It's not a belief system. It's an experiment. Try these practices. Observe what happens. Test it against your own experience. The truth doesn't need your belief. It just is. And when you experience it directly, no one can ever take it from you again. The ancient Gnostics were hunted down and murdered for teaching this. Mystery schools were destroyed for preserving it. Libraries were burned to erase it. Entire civilizations were conquered to suppress it. But here's what they could never destroy: the truth itself, written in your DNA, encoded in your consciousness, waiting in your divine spark for the moment you're ready to remember. That moment is now. You didn't find this video by accident. Something in you, something that has always been awake, even while you were sleeping, brought you here. Your divine spark is calling you home. The journey up these 7 levels isn't easy. You'll face resistance, external and internal. You'll doubt yourself. You'll fall back into old patterns. You'll wonder if any of this is real. That's all part of the process. The caterpillar doesn't know it will become a butterfly. It just knows something is changing, something is dying, and it's terrifying. But it surrenders to the transformation anyway. You are in your cocoon right now. The old identity is dissolving. The Archons are the digestive enzymes, the resistance, the pressure that forces you to grow. And on the other side, wings you never knew you had. So I'll leave you with this. The prison door is open. It's always been open. Walk through it. Not someday, today, this moment. Right now, feel your breath, notice you're noticing. Choose awareness over automaticity. That's it. That's the whole practice. Everything else is just details. You are the divine playing hide and seek with itself. And now, you've been found. Game over. You win. Now go live like it.